I'm Tony, the Dungeon Master of D&D Raw, an actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast where the players look for clues and hunt for a secret foe that makes devious plots within the city of Orenthal. Join the party as they attempt to uncover the machinations of a powerful and sinister organization from accomplishing whatever their goals may be. All the while, they must face the ghosts and ghouls of their past. Follow us every other week as we mostly follow the rules as written, and the majority of the party uses the raw elements of Unearthed Arcana material. We have Tor, a dwarven inquisitive rogue, Saria, our Order of the Immortal Mystic, Kalima, the Cleric Domain of the Grave, Sildan, the Way of the Kensei Monk, and to bring us back into familiar territory, Daryl, the Evocation Wizard. You can find our podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and on our website at dndraw.com. So come and join our detectives as they search the streets, and I hope to see you in Orenthal.
Welcome back to Merely Role Players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt, I've been setting the scene, and whoa, did we bring some drama.
Boy howdy.
On this one.
Such peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Troughs. A lot of troughs.
Yeah, there were peaks too. We achieved our mission, so...
Ben got a nice hat, so there's one winner in this game.
Things worked out for me. I think, to me though, this... I've done... Obviously, I've done different ones to Dave, but Ellie's been in, and to Alex, but Ellie's been in all the ones I've been in. It felt quite similar to the Spy one in that it was like, we had some funny stuff happening, but some extended periods of serious drama is occurring.
Yeah, I think so.
Was that different to the first one that you did though, with just the two of you? Or is that because I can never tell if it's to do with the genre or to do with the group of people or if it's a combination of both?
I think it's the point where the story's at in this case. So the series Dave and I did was kind of more, and didn't know at the time, but in retrospect, was more about setting up the world, setting up the characters,
It was
the ship.
It was a bit lower state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It didn't, apart from when I nearly died, which was unexpected, it didn't feel like life and death a lot of the time. It was I can't do it without spoilers, but there was lots of silly things that happened, which meant that it would kind of had a tone of levity throughout.
Yeah, the first act of something would, I suppose. It kind of makes sense in terms of the story structure of it, I think.
Yeah, so it was a bit more Famous Five-y.
Yeah,
in terms of relating it to other mini role player seasons,
or very much like A New Hope, and this one was very much Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, sure. So it's hardcore Empire Strikes Back.
What did you? Because literally right near the beginning, Matt went, "Well, that's taken a turn," or whatever. I just don't know what exactly you were referring to. Things seem to get unexpected for you quite quickly.
When did I say that? Was that when you nearly destroyed the space station?
Yeah.
Maybe.
When we accidentally
killed half the mafia at the start
instead of
taking them with us. Was that one of those things where you expected us to take them with us?
Well, I hope beyond the point of expecting things like that to happen now is I put stuff in front of you and I want to see how you react.
Totally, and we feel very free in our choices, but you must to some extent be it's most likely that this will happen.
Yeah, it would have been quite different, the expedition, if you'd had some heavies to escort. We might have decided that the inside of the thing looked different, and you could have had more of a trawl through it.
Yeah.
Presumably, if they'd have been there and the matter was providing you with what you wanted, some of it would have gone transformed into treasure for them, because that's what they were after, was valuable goods.
I wondered what would have happened if we'd actually made the jump that I suggested into the middle.
Yeah.
Had you planned for that? Would that have been a catastrophe for everyone? Or is that something we could have survived?
Well, I mean, in the fiction as established, jumping into the middle of a load of ultramassive black holes is probably instant death.
Yeah.
But we've come up with now all this mythology and mystery around what is there.
Yeah, so I think that's why my brain went there. It's after the yoke thing, I was like, well, that's where the thing is. That's where we're going.
But you made a yoke like a harness, right?
I did.
Yeah, yoke
I knew as soon as you said yolk, I was like, Dave is thinking about the middle of an egg.
Yeah.
Dave is 100% thinking about the middle of an egg.
And that's not a stupid thing to think unless you have all the context we had.
It makes me very happy about my word choice.
Yes.
It was very fun.
But like, if you decided to do that, and if everybody else had thought, actually, we see the logic in this, and we think that this could work, then I would have been listening out for cues from all of you about what you were expecting to happen,
Right.
and trying to like riff off that. And it could have been a lot more trippy, I imagine.
I have a question for you, Matt. What character did you enjoy playing the most? Not of all time, just today.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun to play some evil types, actually.
Yeah.
Given that we just came up with Erasmus today, and he wasn't one of my planned. He wasn't one of my planned characters. That was fun to feel out in the moment, and to just have somebody who's kind of like scientifically curious about the people who are trying to kill him.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
evaluating.
almost proud of it.
That's a good
rather
trope, isn't it? Of like, it's not just like a hate rage thing. It's like a clever girl raptor type situation.
Oh, he was horrible.
His cold detachment was really striking.
I like the eye slime.
Yeah, she was fun.
She was great.
Yeah, I didn't get enough of her.
I enjoyed that voice.
I just
But
love Bing.
Bing is always fun.
Yeah.
I really like the friendship that
Oh my
Bing has
god,
built
it's
up.
so beautiful.
I love that it brought a permanent fifth character into the...
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't take him places a lot of the time.
Mainly
but
because it would have meant Matt would have been wearing a lot of hats at once.
Exactly, yeah.
It was nice to have somebody like keeping the ship warm.
Oh, yeah.
while we were-
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's nice knowing that he's on comms, so he can always...
And it makes
be like,
sense because he's such a scaredy cat that he would just
I
stay
know.
inside the ship the whole time.
Oh, he strapped himself in when all the alarms went off. He's so cute.
Oh yeah, it's been really nice seeing how you've like adopted that character and like taken to him.
Yeah, no, he's really funny. I have to say a lot of the like one-liners and the back and forth that you have as Bing are top-notch.
Oh, thanks.
Like they sound written in advance.
Yeah.
The stuff you have with Alex in that early scene was really good.
I think that is what is most impressive about doing this one, because I haven't done one in one of these in a little while, is the sense that a lot of the stuff that you're just coming up with off the cuff. I know you are, but I'm deeply unsure about it. There's always a part of me I'm like, that was really good. Did he write that? Has he prepped this? He hasn't, has he? He's just making this up as he goes along.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, that is
I like those moments where what we did suddenly made sense, but in the moment we were just going, oh, we just got to do this thing, let's do this thing, that thing will work, and then you look back and you go, oh no, that makes really good sense, and that follows
we
the
made a
trope
story
and-
out of this.
Yeah, it was bizarre how we ended up because I didn't plan any of this about like how you actually solve the problem. That we found a solve that relied on everybody in some way.
Yeah.
That we needed somebody to like power the drive, and
we
somebody
really
to
had
get
a
her in the
role,
mood,
yeah.
and somebody to build the drive, and somebody to fly the drive. And it actually seems like you were having your strings pulled by an AI mastermind.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, it's all improvised.
Did it to ourselves.
yeah.
Yes, because presumably we can look at it as Sim was the one who put Alex and Vikki in our orbit because he knew they were the key to us completing his nefarious, as it turns out, mission.
Yeah, and maybe knew that we would go along with it because of our
your
personal
backgrounds.
motivations.
Yeah.
But can I just say, we don't know that he's nefarious.
Did you hear the voice that Matt did at the end there?
He might have just had a sore throat that
There was
day.
a massive sci-fi honk in the
Yeah.
Also, emerging suspiciously from a black hole, never a good sign.
No.
Yeah,
No.
what have we unleashed on the galaxy?
His evil child? I don't know. It's creepy as.
I liked how we came up with backstory hooks and things and then got to pay them off.
Well, we did quite a few times, actually.
Did it feel... I wasn't sure whether it was too contrived to have the same person be like the backstory person for both Alex and Vikki.
No, I think it was a fun little twist to have in there. Like, I think if you were watching that in the cinema, you'd be like, oh my god, have you seen that coming?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, of course it's him.
And they had crossed purposes with them because you wanted them dead and you wanted to
The
talk to them
lies,
together,
yeah.
so you actually had conflict built in as well.
Yeah. And it does make sort of sense. Not necessarily that it was the exact same, but it makes sense that he would have overseen both those programs, right? Because they're both medical kind of based.
But that is like
experimental
classic
programs.
sci-fi, right? There's one big bad who is actually like responsible for
But it's nice that we've got like a few bad people who are in charge of different areas of being bad.
Exactly,
You've got Erasmus with the weird medical experiment stuff, and then you've got Vedix with what, the admin, evil admin.
Yeah, he's more like a government, a government-based
so
position.
they've all got their part to play.
Yeah. I'm really sorry we didn't get a showdown with Vedix though.
I feel like that's going to happen at some point.
Maybe he's going to get his
probably going to have to deal with the mafia at some point as well.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, they do
May
not
or may not come back for us.
I do also love that like classic sci-fi trope of like leaving the, yes, you've really pissed off someone from the mafia.
Yeah.
So they're like out there somewhere.
Yeah, and they'll turn up.
And they'll turn up at some point.
Yep, when I need to be like, I need to get them off planet. Oh, they did a fail.
Yeah.
The mafia found you.
Here they are.
They really need to fail. Oh, they've done it already. Someone tripped, fell. The mafia were right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's funny how like you falling over could trigger a massive event happening just because it means you failed.
Was there anything anybody was like hoping to get to do in a sci-fi vein or in the vein of your archetype that you didn't get to explore?
I was really happy with mine. I kept coming up with ideas that just happened, and the bit with the gun on the back, I was like, I know I've got disadvantage on my next roll, so something's gonna go wrong, but I'm so glad I've got a shoulder-mounted assault rifle.
Cool to make it happen.
That's real cheer. That's cheered me up.
I actually did really appreciate that we managed to fit in a little bit of what is my favourite thing in sci-fi, which is when it is really weird. Right? Like 2001 Obelisk levels of weird.
Sorry, which bit do you think was weird?
Especially the early bit with like the mysterious flying thing and like Alex going in and it messing with his circuit.
That was like what's it called? The book that was then turned into a Natalie Portman
Annihilation.
Annihilation.
Yeah, it had great Annihilation
vibes from the end of that.
It also had like a real feel for the Prometheus.
Yeah.
With me walking into the thing, it was like going into
vast.
Yeah.
Like it had all of those elements of like the vastness of space and the weirdness of the unknown and the otherness of like alien creation.
And a lot of that came from Ellie. Because the first part, that when it was just Ellie and Dave, was quite like grounded, and like we had a bit of like a Firefly vibe to a lot of it.
Yeah, a bit more mundane, like in a human way. Yeah.
But Ellie had that hook about mysteries of the universe, and you kept asking questions about, but what is it though? How did it get there? What's the nefarious purpose at the heart of this? So I was like, well, better have more space weirdness in the next one.
Yeah, and you delivered on that for sure.
Space
and it's good because we all got to do the thing that our characters were there to do, which was great. Because I got to do the deal with the Christmas tree. And Ellie did some fixing. And
like the sciencey sciencey stuff was
I think it was good that like me and Alex both had quite high alien stats. So the weirdest, and I think you did too, didn't you? Have a high alien stat?
I've got a 1.
Yeah. So I think it's like actually it does make sense that we would play into like weird alien stuff happening because that's where we're going to. Whereas Dave is like anchoring us in the mundane in a good way.
Because I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I've got no clue.
But you're like, but if I can con somebody, now we're talking.
Well, when are we getting paid?
Just tell me when to drive the ship.
Which is like a beautiful like Han Solo and Mal to an extent in Firefly as well, like perfectly encapsulated as those characters. Like everyone else is seeking like deeper meaning or a bigger contribution to make to the world, and then there is this one character who's like, I'm really just interested in a payday and escaping from trouble. Those
Where's
are the
my
two.
money?
Yeah,
Where's the easy life?
That's the whole thing, and they get caught up in it anyway.
I should just say before we started recording this debrief, I did apologise to Dave for shooting him, and I do feel really bad. Yeah, I did.
Didn't apologise once.
What? You're such an asshole.
I think that's the most intense and fraught moment we've had, like of negotiation of what the outcome should be. Yeah. Because
I don't know how much will make it to the edit because I did a lot of wailing.
Well, because when you
I'd have been like, shoot him.
Because you said if this kills Dave, I walk, and I was like, I believe you.
Yes, in the moment I meant that.
Yeah.
Oh no, firmly, we saw that.
Yeah,
that was like, she's going to rage quit.
I was like,
that's normally Alex's signature.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, she's going to dump me there.
Yeah. So then I was, I had to be like, okay, this is clearly like a boundary. It's a boundary issue, right?
Yeah.
We need
Which is a bit sad, isn't it? Like, I should be willing to...
I was ready. I said I was happy.
It's territory that we haven't been in.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that kind of. I mean, in Mosaic, we came close, and actually in the Wild Western, I think you came a little close to death a couple of times, mostly through misadventure.
But yeah, it was misadventure. I think the difference is I would be the one to cause it. And at any point in any of these series, when there's been a point where it's like, oh, so this bad thing's going to happen, and you can either go down this route, which means you get hurt, or go down this route, which means your teammate gets hurt. 100% of people have chosen to hurt themselves rather than their teammates. So to get to a point where it's like, I felt in that second, because I panicked, like the only possible outcome was that I had both shot and killed Dave. And that was what was going to happen. I was like, well, I can't play anymore then. Yeah. Because I can't, that's not a choice I'm going to make. Yeah. But of course, Matt was like, there are things that could happen that aren't that.
Yes. Yeah. People can be seriously injured without them having to die. I think, didn't Strat shoot me in Mosaic though?
Yeah.
Through the window. So don't worry, you're not the first person to have shot a teammate.
Strat shot a lot of people.
Strat shot me in real life.
Yeah, that's true. Strat shot you in real life and me in a role-playing game.
The difference is that you weren't dangling over a bottomless abyss.
That's true, yeah. I was just trying to fight a big baddie at the time. And he was trying to, quote-unquote, help me. So that is slightly different.
I think what was good about what you were saying is that it's a boundary. Is that with any of these sort of games, as soon as it stops becoming fun, you need to. It's basically that's the thing that you're aiming for. It's fun at all times. Now it can be challenging and it can be a little bit awkward, or a bit fraught, or dark, or whatever. But as soon as it stops becoming fun, and in that moment it stopped becoming fun for Ellie, it was like, we need to change it. Because otherwise it's not inclusive anymore.
We were talking about transparent communication earlier on a completely different topic, but it's that. It's like you transparently communicated, this is not a thing that I want to occur. So we walked it back.
I wonder how much of it is also that we are using our own names and our own characters.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right.
If you'd have been someone else.
Other versions, she'd have been like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I'd be like, oh, Dave, can just pick up a new character. That's not a problem. I don't mind killing Sprague.
Yes, the end is ultimate.
It would begin with a Q if it was Dave, let's be honest.
And they'd be brown.
My name is Quilby Brown.
Quilby Brown, that's my next name in anything I ever do.
No. For the sake of...
with a brown trilby.
It's just interesting because, like, if I felt like it would make the drama happen, I'd be very happy to die as a character.
Well, that's what I said. I was completely...
That's the difference. Everybody's happy to die, nobody's happy to be the one that...
I would be totally happy to die.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, if it had been a bad guy... It could have been a villain
Yeah.
shooting him. That would have been a very different scenario.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It's pretty clear psychology, isn't it?
I don't want to kill my friends. Good to know. Good to know.
I hope you all feel reassured. Oh, very reassured.
I think we have learned one thing though, is that don't roll to help people because only mess us up.
I'm so sorry.
Honestly, I can't remember a time where that's ever worked
Every
out.
man for himself.
No.
Leave him to it. Just leave him. Let him get on with it. Don't help.
Was there anything that surprised you? Did we do anything that was... Because that's always interests me, is stuff that you kind of had no clue was coming.
I mean, I couldn't have seen the, like, altercation with the mafia
and the Christmas tree.
So that was a bit surprising.
Did you find that the storm was happening fast? Like that happened sooner than you were expecting it to?
Well, I had no idea what to expect because I didn't know how that playbook was going to play. So I was it was interesting to sound it out right at the beginning, and I'm glad that happened because I think it was a really good, because it was we had quite a not a slow start, but like a contemplative start of like everybody's observing something and waiting for something to happen. It was nice that you made something happen.
And also I thought it was quite plot propelling then because then it was like there are questions to be asked. I'm asking questions about myself.
Well, also I feel like even if other stuff had been happening, we'd have constantly been going, but when is Vikki's stuff going to happen? Yeah. Because we know that it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 actually isn't very many.
No, and you can't do too much of a slow build in something like this where we're just crunching it into one session.
Yeah.
I had stuff prepared for on the Hulk, the thing around the black hole, in case you went like exploring it more thoroughly. Like if you'd all gone in, you could have found you weren't maybe you weren't alone in there.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was a kind of, we could have done a whole like haunted house sort of thing. I think the stuff that we did with like it playing into Alex's backstory and hooks and
was really great.
Was really great anyway. So I'm not bothered about not using that stuff.
Was there,
that was one of the jobs that I had planned as an option for the first session. Because you had the option of like, do you want to go ask the Mafia for a job or ask the Glitches for a job?
Yeah.
If you'd asked the Mafia for a job,
it would have been that job.
It would have been that job.
Okay.
Okay.
So the story would have been very different.
Yeah. We wouldn't have had Bane.
No. Oh my god. Bane. Well, were there any things or characters that you prepared that didn't end up getting used this session?
I mean, I have stats for Secretary Vedix, but you didn't meet him in person.
Right.
Obviously, Malia is still around.
Well, you'll match her now with your cyborg arm that I'm going to build you.
Yeah.
And I used to make fun of her for being a Robocop.
I know. When you see her, she's going to lay down some sweet burns on you.
But if you have like a one-on-one fight, that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I have lots of ship stats that you didn't really do any space fighting, so that was fine.
No.
I mean, there were possibilities of fighting Rukuktu in space.
We were trying to get away from it.
You got away.
I feel like until we get some more good stuff for the ship, we're kind of trying to avoid air fights if we can.
Shields were a good investment.
They turned out to be a really good investment.
So I suppose Sid could turn up at some point as well, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's always around.
Well,
we owe him money and a favour, so...
God.
We've unleashed what I can only assume is like a Thanos-style bad guy into the galaxy as well, so not sure how that's going to play out.
We'll be turning to ash soon.
Yeah.
Woo!
Spoilers for Avengers Infinity War.
I didn't say who turned into ash.
I used the word Thanos, though.
So
Everyone has seen that film now.
So we're all going to be speculating about what happens in the next part. None of us know.
Nightmares ahoy.
Nothing is planned yet. So
you don't even know.
He never even knows.
I'm recording this very early compared to when you, the listener, are listening to it. So, actually,
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy Easter.
February, hey.
So when I say nothing is planned and we don't know what's going to happen next, tune in next week and you'll find out.
Yeah. Hey. Time travel, eh? Nice.
Just click the time there, Dave.
You've been listening to Merely Roleplayers. You can look us up wherever you find podcasts, on Twitter @merelyroleplay and at facebook.com/merelyroleplayers. Reviews and kind words are all very much appreciated, and we hope you'll join us again for our next episode.